133rd day of Ukrainian resistance, Ukraine Media Center, and we are launching our new briefing, our next briefing, and we will speak to Vadym Lyakh, mayor of Slovyansk. Vadym, good morning. Good morning. Vadym, the front line is coming closer to Slovyansk. What is the current situation in the city? Well, the situation is really difficult, and over the recent 2 weeks, the city has been under shelling with cluster bombs and a lot of casualties. And over the whole period of the hostilities, 17 residents of the community have perished and 67 have been wounded. The critical infrastructure is still functioning, but as far as centralized water supply is concerned, it's no longer there for the most part. For the most of the city, there are problems with electricity because about 1/3 of residents are staying without electricity, and then we restore its supply, and again the enemy is firing and destroying all this. We are evacuating people while ATMs are still functioning. All commitments of the state are performed and social payments, salaries are paid. What about evacuation? People can see what is happening in the towns and cities located close to Slovyansk, in Lysychansk, in Severodonetsk. So, does it make people pass a decision to evacuate? Well, those who really saw this have already left, and they left long ago. And about we have now about 23,000 residents who are still staying in Slovyansk. Yeah, the number of those willing to evacuate is rising, but unfortunately, the missile strikes have and their increase in their number have resulted in this. And now it's not that safe to evacuate people. But anyway, people are leaving the town, and they can do this safely to Dnipro. We are working actually in two directions as far as evacuation is concerned. This is Lviv, Dnipro, or Rivne. This is all being done, and we provide free of charge accommodation and food. When people claim that they don't have enough money to evacuate, well, that is a lame excuse. That's not true, and that does not correspond to reality. And if you see the experience of the neighboring communities, which are already under occupation, and if you have a look at their experience of evacuation, people also were not willing to evacuate, but after there were missile strikes, they had to leave without any personal things and belongings. They were just forced to leave to Rivne, to Lviv, but before that they were not willing to do this. So this means that everything needs to be done when it is safe and when it is just in time. We remember that 2014 started with Slovyansk, and the hostilities started with 2014 because Russians considered Slovyansk to be symbolic um, in terms of its name. And what do you expect from the battle for Slovyansk, and how much are Russians going to attack the town? Well, I guess they are going to do this because the front line is, well, about some 10 or 20 kilometers from Slovyansk, in some places 30 kilometers. So the attempts already being made with no success, and probably that has resulted in more frequent missile strikes because they are trying to compensate for offensive failure with shelling of civilians. Well, that is no longer going to be symbolic. I guess that the situation is going to be the same as it was in Severodonetsk and Liman. The moment offensive attacks are launched, the enemy will start destroying the whole town and all the infrastructural facilities. Could you please tell more for those who are not quite aware of the geography of Slovyansk, about Mount Karachun, about water storage facilities? Will they affect the course of events? Well, the town is really important because it is located at the crossroads of two roads, and it is a good logistic hub. And also, the front line is now going along the Siversky Donetsk river, which is very difficult to cross, and the enemy has already made some attempts to do this, but has failed. Well, there are fortifications in the town, and that is the same as in Kramatorsk, with a lot of fortifications arranged near the towns. So, as far as I understand, this has enabled us to keep the enemy back over 4 months, because offensive attacks are nothing new, but from the side of Izum, it has not moved. Um, any single step. The Ukrainians are staying in the valley, and the enemy cannot move forward. As far as the siege is concerned, well, they tried to make some offensive attempts from Barvinok, but again, they have failed so far. And along the Siversky Donetsk River, well, they again have been staying in one and the same place for about 1 month. So let's hope that this will happen so in the future. But unfortunately, civilians will be under shelling more and more frequently. That's true. So I wish you good morale, resistance of spirit. Have a good, peaceful day, and no casualties among civilians. So this has been our talk with Vadym Lyakh, Mayor of Slovyansk, and our next briefing will take place at 11:30. And that will be the briefing with Serhiy Makohon, Chief Executive Officer of Gas Transmission System Operator of Ukraine, LLC. We will speak about the Ukrainian gas transmission system and preparation for the heating